Let's talk about the chemistry of love, from dopamine to deep connection. Love. It's a word that carries so much meaning, doesn't it? It can make us feel invincible, as if we are floating above the clouds. But love is more than a feeling. It's a journey, an evolution of emotions, thoughts, and believe it or not, chemicals. That's right, chemicals. You might be thinking, wait, chemicals? Isn't love supposed to be this mysterious, almost magical force? Something we can't quite explain? Well, in a way it is. But when we look closer, when we peek behind the curtain of this powerful emotion, we discover that the magic has a science of its own. In fact, one of the main instigators of love is something you might have heard of: dopamine. But here's the thing: dopamine isn't what you think it is. Most people believe dopamine is the pleasure chemical, but really, it's the molecule of anticipation. It's not the high we get from love itself, but the rush we feel when something exciting is just within our grasp. So let me ask you something. Have you ever felt that electric thrill when you first lock eyes with somebody across a crowded room? Or that excitement bubbling up when you get a text from someone you've just started dating? That's dopamine. It's that jolt of possibility, the spark that sets the stage for everything that follows. Dopamine thrives in the space between what is and what could be. It's the maybe. It's why the early stages of love feel like a whirlwind, unpredictable, exhilarating, and often overwhelming. So what's the role of dopamine in romantic love? In those early stages of love, what scientists call romantic love or passionate love, dopamine is the star of the show. Every time we anticipate spending time with the person we are falling for, every touch, every laugh, it's like a mini dopamine rush, a tiny shot of excitement. This phase of love is all about novelty and unpredictability, both of which are like fuel for the brain's dopamine pathways. That's why we might lose sleep, feel restless, and think about them constantly. It's dopamine keeping us alert, urging us forward. But here, where things gets interesting. Love doesn't stay like that forever. It can't. And frankly, it shouldn't. So what's the transition from the dopamine to the here and now molecules? Here's where love gets complex and where many of us find ourselves at crossroads. Dopamine, the molecule that thrives on anticipation, doesn't last forever. It's designed for the chase, for the pursuit, but what happens after? What happens when the chase is over? When love moves from that initial spark into something deeper, something lasting, the chemistry in our brains changes too. Enter the here and now molecules, which is the H and N's. And trust me, you've heard of this before. So what are these H and N's? These are the molecules that bring us back to the present. Serotonin, for example, gives us the deep sense of contentment. Oxytocin, often called the love hormone, is responsible for the intimate bonds, especially during moments of closeness. You know that feeling of warmth when you hold someone's hand or just sit in a peaceful silence together. And that's oxytocin. And then there are endorphins. Our brain's natural painkillers, you may say. They are what make us feel comforted and safe. They are the cozy blanket of love, the soft landing after the excitement of dopamine. But, perhaps the most fascinating H and N molecule is anandamide. Its the name comes from the Sanskrit word ananda, which means bliss, joy, delight. It's like nature's way of showing us that true love isn't just about the highs, it's about the quiet moments of peace and belonging. So there are the two phases of love, which is from passion to peace. So think of love as having two phases. The first is passionate love, which is the dopamine-fueled phase where everything is new, exciting, and full of potential. It's exhilarating, but also in a way fragile, because eventually our brains need something more, something stable. And that's where the second phase comes in, companionate love. This is where the H and N's take over, where love moves from idealized future possibilities to a lived present reality. It's in this phase that love deepens, becomes rooted in trust, comfort, and shared experiences, right? Companionate love is about being with someone, not because they excite you in the same way they did in the beginning, but because you feel safe, understood, and deeply connected. It's about sharing a life. It's not just a fleeting moment. So let's talk about the dopaminergic personality, which is living for the next thrill, right? But here's where it gets interesting. Not everyone transitions easily from dopamine-driven passion to the H and N-fueled peace. Some people are wired to thrive on anticipation and planning more than the experience itself. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine a man who's planning his dream vacation to Rome. He spends weeks meticulously planning, booking the museums, mapping out the landmarks, ensuring every day is packed with exciting things to do. But when he finally arrives, standing in front of the Michelangelo masterpiece, something's off. Instead of being fully present, his mind is already racing to the next thing on his list. What's time is dinner? How do I get to the next landmark? So you see, he's stuck in anticipation mode, always looking to the next thrill, the next high. This is what happens when we live too much in the dopamine-driven world. We miss the beauty of what's right in front of us. And sometimes we do this in love too, don't we? So how do you learn to be present in love? In relationships, it's easy to fall into the trap of always chasing what's next. The next date, the next big moment, the next big step in your relationship. But when we focus only on what's ahead, we might miss out on the magic of the moment. And real love, lasting love, is built on those quiet, unremarkable moments. It's not always the grand gestures or the exciting plans. It's the everyday simple acts of connection that build a deep, unshakable bond. So what's the conclusion here with the evolution of love? So if you're someone who feels like the thrill of love has faded, know this. It's not that this love is dying. It's a sign that it's evolving. It's moving from the excitement of anticipation to the comfort of the present. In that comfort, in that deep connection, there's a different kind of joy, a more lasting, peaceful kind of love. So whether you're at the beginning of love's journey, caught up in the dopamine rush, or you've settled into the peaceful rhythm of companionship, remember, love is always evolving, always changing. And the beauty of it it's that no matter where you are in the journey, love is worth every moment. Love isn't just about the highs, it's about the here and now. Well, thank you for watching, and please click the like button if you like this video, and if you would like to share it with people who you think would be benefited from this video, please do so, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done that already. And I will see you soon for the next one. Thank you.